Hi, my name's Lance, and I'm here to tell you about the time my crush, a popular student, paid me $10,000 to make her ex jealous. A little backstory to this. I went to high school with Lydia, but I never talked to her. As if I could. She was the type of girl with a presence so blazing that it was hard to keep up with her. I was scared to talk to her. When I found out she was going to the same college as I was determined to at least say hi for the first time. Okay, yes. It's a little strange to like someone you've never exchanged pleasantries with, but I couldn't help it. Whenever I would see her in the halls, she was just so vibrant. Well, ignorance is kind, I suppose. During the middle of my first semester, she approached me instead. I mentally malfunctioned so badly, it stuttered the soul out of me. It was bad. However, Lydia wasn't all hearts and roses like I expected. She said hi, how are you? Did some small talk, then dropped a bombshell on me. Do you want to go out with me? Cue mental malfunction number 2. I'm pretty sure she could visibly see me sweat, because I felt hot. Then she added with, I don't actually like you, I just want to make my ex jealous. Yep. All my hopes and dreams shattered. It wasn't exactly that dramatic, but at that moment, it felt like that. I finally managed to ask her, what? Apparently, I was wasting her time, because she reached into her backpack, pulled out $10,000, and held it out to me. Like, who just casually walks around with $10,000 in their bag? She said, I'll literally pay you $10,000 to do this. I know you've been wanting to talk to me. The way you stare at me is so obvious. Well, was it that obvious? Of course it was. There was a part of me that kept saying, no, don't do this. You're better than this. Don't fall so low for a quick money grab and gratification. But another part of me was like, do it though. And so I did it. It was an under-the-table deal, if you know what I mean. No one except me and her knew what happened. So I gained $10,000 and the ability to close with Lydia. I did ask her who exactly I was making jealous. She went on to explain that her ex-boyfriend and her split it off a few weeks before that. However, the only reason why she did that was because she was expecting him to come crawling back to her, begging to get back together. But he didn't, and she resorted to underhanded tactics like pretending to be in a relationship, specifically to make him jealous. Okay, talk about being a little bit crazy. I definitely didn't expect someone like her to be so bitter, but then again, until that moment, I never spoke a word to her. I didn't truly know her. I was starting to regret liking her. But, anyways, I asked her who her ex was, and if I should keep a lookout for him. She said, the worst he could do is kill you or something. Okay, that helps me. How? I mean, thanks for letting me know I could die, I guess. I asked her to be more specific, like his appearance and stuff. She said, his name is Mark. Tall, kinda scrawny, but has a history of violent outbursts. Of course. Of course it's frickin' Mark, with a silent E. Everyone should have expected that. As soon as his parents named him Mark with an E on the end, they should have known he would be America's next most wanted. Despite that, I was like, okay. And if I see him and he tries to confront me, what do I do? She just shrugged and went, fight him. Excuse me? Mark with the silent E has a little history of violent outbursts. Pfft, yeah, right, I'm fighting him for your crazy self. But I did have a deal to honor, and it would have made me look bad for not following through on it. So I kept the charade up for 3 whole months. At first, it was cool. I actually got to know Lydia a little better, past her bitter self. She was a pretty chill person, for the most part. But then, she started getting more persistent. In the beginning, it was just social media, posts with us together. Then it was simple, cute videos, collages, albums, so on and so forth. And when she wasn't getting any messages from Mark, she was like, "Let's up the ante." And I was like, I am not doing a tape like Kim K did. And she said, "Not that, idiot. Just trust me." I did not, however, trust her. She then posted a video of us making out on her private Snapchat that only Mark and a few others have access to. Normally, I'd be like, "Dang, I'm into that." But I didn't. Mostly because Mark added me on Snap. Mental malfunction number 3. He was like, "Who are you? You Lydia's new man?" Lydia was asleep by then, as I had stayed up to study, and it was close to 1 a.m. I had no idea what she wanted me to say, so I played it safe, and was like, "Yeah, been going out for a few months. Why?" Mark told me to meet him at the college campus at exactly 8 a.m. the next day. He literally said, "You, me, 8 a.m. Your college campus, tomorrow. Better be there." Yeah, I had to change my pants after that. I spammed Lydia with texts and calls, unrelenting. I don't know how long it took, but she finally called me back. And she was not happy. She was like, "What are you doing spamming my phone? Go to bed, you weirdo." I was then like, "Yeah, I would. If your crazy ex-boyfriend didn't just plan to whoop my butt right in front of me." I sent her the screenshots, and all she said was, "Dang, it worked. You think? What was I supposed to do? I've never gotten into a physical fight before. I didn't want to do it over something so trivial. Or at all." When I told her, all she said was, "You can't back out. He'll literally find your address and beat you in your own bedroom." Well, dang. Thanks for the heads up. I said that this has gone too far, and to just get back together with him already. If he's getting jealous, then he must feel something for her. She was like, "I want to see how loyal he is. If he still feels the way he did when we first met, he'll pummel you into a pulp." You know, I heard Norway is an excellent country to live in, and while I never even thought about moving, I was seriously considering it then. So, Lydia told me good night, hung up, and went back to sleep. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. I was dreading what was going to happen when I got to college that morning. I got there at 8 a.m. sharp. If I was going to get beat into the ER, I at least wanted to be on time for it. However, Mark beat me to it, as did Lydia. The two of them stood outside the building, making out with each other. Like, making out with each other. To the point that they could swallow each other whole, like snakes. And it wouldn't be shocking, because they were basically doing that already. Seeing Lydia with someone else did hurt a little, only because I thought we grew closer. But then I remember I was being used. She paid me to use me. And it worked out to her advantage. She got her man back and got me out of her hair. Win-win. When he spotted me, he pulled himself away from her and was like, "You, Lance?" His voice was not what I expected. Lydia made him out to be some violent, intimidating character. But when he spoke, he sounded pubescent, like a kid. I was like, "Yeah. And you're Mark with the silent E, right?" "Man, I knew I was gonna get crap for that." "Thanks, Mom." He was a lot more comical than I first thought. Maybe Lydia made all that stuff up to scare me. Besides the physical description, which was right. He was nothing like she said he was. I asked him if he was going to pummel me into the ground, or if I had to get 911 on speed dial. He just said, "Bro, what?" When I explained to him everything Lydia told me, including what I thought his messages meant, he just went quiet. "I just wanted to meet you, man." Cue mental malfunction number 4. Then why were your messages so threatening? I'm not good at texting. Well, that was kinda obvious, my dude. Lydia just smirked at me and said, "Thanks for helping, Lance. You actually did better than I thought." Why'd she say that like she was testing me? I asked her, "Okay, what is actually going on?" She just smirked at me and was like, "You know how you watched me like a creep whenever you saw me?" And I was like, "You know about that?" She just nodded. "It was obvious. Sorry. Besides, you weren't the only one who was doing that." Okay. Well, I didn't like the direction that conversation was going into. I asked her what she meant, and she said, "This isn't my ex." Okay, I said. Then, who is that then? She stepped away from him, and with a big smile on her face, went, "This is my brother." Cue mental malfunction number 5. And rising, I stared at her, utterly dumbfounded into idiocy. All I could say was, "What?" She just smiled at me. "Not biological, don't worry." As if I was worrying about that specifically. Y'all were literally swallowing each other. How does that make sense? I felt like I was going to pass out right there on the pavement. Lydia said, "I was testing to see if you would actually show up." "And you had to use your non-biological brother to do that?" I asked about Lydia's actual ex, and she said, "Oh, he texted me this morning and asked to go out. So, we're done here." She thanked Mark before walking over to me and grabbing both my hands. "You were a big help, and a great actor. I'll make sure to hire you again if the time comes for it." Hire? This isn't a telenovela, and I wasn't acting either. When she left, it was just Mark and I. The awkwardness shot through the atmosphere and into orbit. "Sorry about that, man," Mark said. "Lydia can be very elaborate with her plans." I just stared at him. "And you went along with it. How are you any better? Do I need to contact your parents?" He just kind of laughed and was like, "Nah, if I'm being honest, I feel like throwing up. But she paid me $20,000 to do it, so I definitely wasn't going to be stupid by rejecting it." I honestly couldn't tell if he was being smart or really dumb. Perhaps the smartest dumb person. Also, wait, 20,000? In cash? Who just has that cash lying around? Okay, so not only was Lydia crazy for her ex's attention, she was into some questionable things and tactics. And she was rich. Was the Lydia I saw in high school just a facade to draw people in? 'Cause if it was, wow, someone get her an Oscar. On the other hand, wow, someone get her a therapist. All Mark said was, "Sorry for this, dude. No hard feelings, though." Before leaving, I was officially 45 minutes late for my class then. Now I want to ask, what would you have done in my position? Would you have taken the money, despite not knowing what the future for you held? I mean, I got 30,000 in 3 months with someone I admired, so it wasn't completely bad. But I want to know. Leave your answers in the comments below.